last weekend it was on the back of a couple of huge performances from Tiggleton on Miramar in particular. But you can't be too upset about those.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't... You brought up the map separate, sort of map split. Clover did as well on the desk. This isn't the last time that we're going to see Erangel. We have one more round of all Erangel next Friday. But still, we have all day of Miramar tomorrow. Are there any teams that are like sort of failing to live up to their own win condition of needing to perform well on Erangel?
I mean, Radiance looked absolutely insane on Miramar previously, and I mean, you could say the same thing really on the flip side as I did about Sonics, which is they haven't really stepped up on Erangel, right? And you've got to nail both. You can't rely on getting your performance carried on the one map and not the other. But I don't know. It's something we're going to have to follow coming into obviously tomorrow's games.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, exactly. We also might even see a team that is supposed to do good on Miramar completely just trip and fall all day tomorrow. Because that's the thing about having one map for the entirety of the day is that you don't really get a chance to reset. It's very difficult to sort of get your mind in a new position that the map swap allowed you to. It comes with its own disadvantages, though. Of course, if you're on a good streak, you're able to keep that streak a little stronger, just in the mental aspect. By the way, Plane Path coming through. Once again, 3 games in a row. Plane Path was fair. Are we going to see 3 games in a row where the circle is fair? Who knows? We're going to have to see. Definitely, I think already this day of Erangel has been a huge contrast between what we saw last Friday, because those games were just, even if they weren't in a weird area of the map with a bunch of water, it was just hard shifts back and forth. But it looks like the first circle is going to be fairly even. Still, of course, a little bit of Sosnovka Island in play, but it's at the level that unless we see 2 hard shifts in a row, it's not going to really be much of an issue. I very much expect to see us play, for the most part, north of farm. Could even see the end game similar to game number 1, but that's, of course, can't call that just yet. Yeah,
I mean, the tricky circle ones are usually an issue only if we see back-to-back hard shifts, like you said. So we'll have to see where this circle 2 goes when it rolls around.
But because of that sort of neutral plane path, once again, I don't know if we're going to be seeing a lot of action in the early game. Comets right now rolling up to the Dirty Dozen. Veritas looting up school apps. I think it's going to be a pretty standard early game. I'm just looking at the map right now, and yeah, I don't see anything that's really off of things. I mean, there is, of course, Carnage all the way on Kameshki in a 4-box split, but yeah, no, it doesn't look like any team is really in a position to fight immediately. That, of course, doesn't speak for rotational engagements. Anyone setting a trap. Oath right now rotating in towards Milta Power. They're actually quite greedy with this separation that they have, this loot pattern that they have, because they've spread all the way up towards Prison, towards Lipovka, but no one is in the area to contest them, so why would you blame them for that?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with that. You know, make use of the space you're given, to be honest with you, but nobody really tends to mess with them. I mean, not nowadays, at least. Obviously, back when Wolf was on the roster, I know they had... Oh, okay. I was about to make a Shrimsy driving reference, but I don't think he actually hit that. But
you don't deserve that anymore.
No, but when Wolf was back on the roster, obviously they did have some issues historically with... their spot getting contested. But nowadays, I think people leave them to their own devices, and I'm fine with it. Until they start getting punished, obviously, they're just going to slowly flex out more and more. And obviously, depending on the plane path, it's good to have a lot of space, right? If you have to stretch to your spot and not have any nonsense with people coming to run you over before you even hit the ground and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Then, it's one less thing to worry about.
That really is really the worst, where you have to fly a long distance, but you also got to fly past where 3 other teams their loot spot is right there. And so even if it's not a vehicle that you're fighting over and get run over, as you mentioned, also just a really early M14 iron sights that they try and shoot you out of the sky with. It's not fun. So that's, I guess, one of the benefits of playing on the edge, is obviously, unless the plane is on the opposite side of it, that I guess is one less angle to worry about. Of course, you have to drive in all the way from the edge. Nonetheless, anyway, shoot to kill. Holding out Georgia Pole. ATC are actually nowhere near this. They've went all the way up towards Zarky. And is that a reaction to the fight on the mountain last game?
It's official. They're shook.
I guess. I imagine, but it's not like shoot to kill push into North George. I don't think it'll be difficult from ATC to find their own rotation. I guess they could be worried about Illusion holding off the spot that they did the previous game as well. I could see that being a concern, but going up towards Zarky, I don't know if that's necessarily a demand because of that.
No, and I think actually, it plays more to SDK's strength. They have one less thing to worry about, right? And again, we've talked about this early game situation a number of times, and it's the what if factor that can throw your game off. Is this the game they camp that bridge? Is this the game they're waiting for us to rotate past Cube, etc., etc. So I think it plays more to SDK's strength, to be honest.
Yeah, because then they actually have to, I guess, spend less time getting to their scouting locations, because we know how much SDK love to scout. They're not the only team that do so. I don't want to imply that SDK are the only team that scout, but they love to scout. They're what is it? Salivate over it. It's almost an addiction to them.
Foaming at the mouth. I've used that term a number of times over the last few weeks. I don't know how I keep coming back to it.
Yeah, we all have our repeat phrases.
It's going to become a crutch phrase. Wait for it.
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, you gotta sort of catch them early. It's like a disease. You really don't want to let it develop before you start giving medication. Don't ask me how phrases and diseases are comparable. They're obviously very different from each other. Also very different is this early game right now from where action's happening, because nothing's really going on. ATC now rotating away from Zarky with the blue right at their back. I feel like they just barely had enough time to get a full loot cycle in there, and I wonder how much utility, how much resources going to have. Looking at Aguila's backpack, it seems pretty all right, but they're going to be driving in with the blue at their back. They're not going to be able to stop and try and search for information. It's almost going to be a blind send, and if anyone is in their way, it could be what?
Don't know.
All right. Well, Woolly's here. Or is it so the Comets grabbed this compound. Wooly has now arrived. Blew up, a vehicle blew up at some time. Don't know whose it was. But now Victor took a lot of damage. Has a medkit on. Nade doesn't go far enough for D-Treat to find the knock, but it's going to be the angle held by Yaxley. I don't know if this is a fight that Duel had a whole set to take, or if it was more Wooly discovered them and was all out of sorts, and the rest of Duel were trying to follow up behind, but now that Wooly's out, Duel might want to think of backing off.
And I'm not sure really how he's got stuck down in this spot, but maybe some early game aggression here. Wooly will finally get confirmed here, and D-Treat's looking to punish Cherry as well. That nade actually got into this. Ooh, Cherry's lucky to get away with his life there. But going to hop back in the buggy now and try and get the hell out of there, which is the right decision. Head all the way back out. He's going to take a couple of taps on the way out, actually, as well.
A little bit, but doesn't get confirmed, fortunately, and Duel able to stop the bleeding. I'm not going to say stabilize, because they did lose one, and they didn't really get anything out of it. But they don't lose more. And it could have been a lot worse for them. But 303, face-to-face with Veritas. Honey Badger trying to spot the rotation from Jazza. They're not going to go for the shots, because these are actually both teams, I believe, that are playing on the military base. Jazza is down here by himself while the rest of his team is in school. And is unfortunately spotted, but 303, because they have to move to the circle, they're not going to put more resources that direction than they need to. They're just going to back off. It's just one kill. It's not exactly worth it.
Well, yeah, I think Jazza actually, maybe he wasn't actually sat in front of his PC for the plane, but it looked like he AFK dropped. I'm not going to lie, because obviously the rest of Veritas are in their normal drop spots. We get a pretty harsh north shift here.
Yeah.
And STK have just strolled into school, it looks like. So they're going to get themselves probably one of the strongest spots in this Circle 2. Meanwhile, obviously, ATC backfilling the gas station up here after Illusion left it. So they're going to get a little bit of space as Illusion heads south as well. But that's an interesting shift, to be honest, because we know where these tend to pull towards. Oh, Reno actually going to pull into.
Okay.
He runs over Waldo. Lost. Now going to open up with the barrel. He's actually going to be able to trade it out. Lucky there, because Reno did get a shot off onto Lost and no follow-up from Dodge. So Radiant should be able to reset and get this res.
No rush, Los. It's not like Waldo's bleeding out right next to you. Go ahead and pop your own stim. Oh, okay, here it comes. That's why he was waiting for the push. Oh my god, he gets clipped just barely by the tire, but 3 members out. He's only able to get 1 down. And the rest of Radiance don't exactly have the angle, and so it looked to be like a good stabilize. It's going to be 2 down officially for Radiance, and now Dodge have this dip to play around in. It's a good grab because of the number of teams trying to push into the southeast quarter of the circle. Gaxi and McCoy left for Radiance. Are they going to try and, I guess, push back onto Dodge, or just take their losses with a smile? Oh!
I mean, Oath's coming in with the third party, but this is tricky because Radiance don't actually have line of sight on the spot that Waldo and Lost were playing. They can't support them there. I mean, it's difficult to see Radiance lose to like that, but I guess it's much of the same of what we've been seeing. It's painful to watch.
Number of teams, because of the hard shift, forced out of sorts on their own rotation. Duel, it looks like they felt they don't have any other option other than going actually all the way up towards Yasnaya, might even going into the city themselves, and eventually push down across the fields. But if a team gets to the sort of bombed out new craters in the fields, it could be bad. STK taking the apartments, as you mentioned. There's actually Purdy Curdy out on the low ground building. Could be a good little information flank position for him, but the majority of the team, of course, in the easier to defend apartments themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't like. I have a special name for that building that Kurt is in.
Yeah,
and it's Skid Mark, and it's
Nice.
called that for a reason because I think every single time I went, and this is coming from somebody that used to drop and loot school and apps, and obviously the Rozhok area. Every time I went to that building, I was the first person to die on my team. So that's why I call it the Skid Mark. Plus, also there's a dirt road that comes into it.
It's a double entendre then.
Yeah,
It's got deep. It's a deep call out.
mm-hmm.
It's got multiple meanings. It's got to read in between the lines to really get the political message that Hypuck is trying to tell us all.
So I don't like that Kurt is there, but Kurt is somebody who likes to prove me wrong time and time again. So I'm sure he's gonna drop another 10 kills from there.
Yeah, actually, probably. Maybe not anymore. Not from that position, at least, because it's going to be a medium shift towards the northeast. But already you see SDK and a number of other squads in their vehicles to push up. Sonic's here, coming out from Potato. They didn't really have a big possibility of getting the circle unless with a hard shift in their direction, so they should be prepared to drive like they're going to have to. But Purdy and the rest of the SDK rolling up at the same time that Liberate are trying to get to Alamo. Not exactly on the angle to punish the rotate just to... Whoa, Isaac, watch where you're going, boy. Spots out SDK, and he's actually able to make his way out of there. Somehow, Purdy isn't able to find that damage. Gets a little bit of damage against him from Liberate, forced to back away, and SDK might want to rethink where they're going to play at.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult here because this is such a hard spot to kind of coexist with the surrounding compounds being occupied. Obviously, the 4-man down at Alamo that's kind of wild, but we have to hop back on with that as Roth pulls up into one of the craters here. The rest of Zenith actually following up on it after he's taken a little bit of pressure on the way in, but there's not too much ATC can do about this because of Illusion holding the compound overlooking the field. So
Yeah.
Roth and Kickstart... Oh, Mystery's there as well. I didn't actually see his player tag overlapping there, but again, this is a spot where you just have to chill. You have to chill for 2 or 3 circles until some people come within line of sight, because every time you head peek one of these ridges, you're going to get popped.
ATC got a lot of kills when they last played this position, but it wasn't dead center. It was when the circle was closer towards the south. It was the game that actually Sonics won against Liberate in second place. That ended at the what you call the Ghost Compound just south of where ATC are. But that just shows that a circle moving at least a couple of meters changes things entirely. And Sonics, they're moving quite a bit past STK. Already lose one, and actually a second knocked as well. And Shrimsy, that's really, really bad for Sonics. They would have found a decent position to hang out for now. But there was zero chance on getting those two kills, those two knocks, rather. Picked back up, but immediately Tickleton. He wants to trade. It's towards a different team, but he wants to go for a fight. Oh, second headshot. Finds more damage. And this might force Fable to group back up. What are Greg and Hexeta going to do?
Oh my god, now SDK getting pulled up on Alo is going to find two knocks after Sharp and Keenan open up onto them, but no follow-up from the rest of Veritas. I don't know if Jazza is still split elsewhere, but I don't know where Penta is. So SDK probably going to be able to recover from that. Sharp Shot will get a bleed out on Uncivil, though, so that's unfortunate for SDK, boys.
I mean, they're holding strong, though. We recognized how sort of difficult that position might be able to play, and the fact that they're still alive right now, despite taking a couple of knocks against them, should at least mean something. Circle does come back in their direction. They don't have to move too far for now. And the fact that the circle comes down south means that I think there's going to be a lot more fighting happening in the north, not just between ATC, Zenith, and Guard to try to make a push of their own into Sonic's Volcano. But Maluk spots out 303. A little bit of damage. Late rotation, late wide rotation for 303, but Carnage pushing into the Sonics. What can they do to open up? It's going to be a tall task for them right now. It's been one more knock and confirm. It's all in H-Win, but he's able to win the 1 versus 1. But at what cost? He's the last one remaining. It's time to put on your big boy shoes once again and clutch out a victory, but it's going to be a hard one because here comes Zenith.
Yeah, actually the 3-man pulling up on top of him. A little bit of damage coming on the way in, so H-Win might be able to follow up on some of this. And actually, Nork is going to drop kickstart now. H-Win still trying to med up on the outside. ATC are bailing H-Win out right now. Just Mystery standing for Zenith. It's a fantastic third-party angle from ATC, and Mystery just going to get... Oh, no, Mystery has got into the wardrobe. He's in the rattiest spot in the game.
I mean, let's not discount H-Win's rat spot as well. I think they're just trying to out-rat each other, and that's really all that they can do at this position. If they peek out any window, it could be Fable, it could be Illusion, could be ATC ready to take that final kill. Another smoke's going to come out from H-Win. You might be expecting a push. That's not going to happen, because Mystery is not moving. Oh, well, he's actually pushing forward a little bit. Baited out by the smoke. Molotov's going to come in. It's not going to spread towards H-Win, though. But it is going to let him know that there is still one person in his building, as if that were a question. Another underhanded smoke. And actually, Mystery, he's bailing out. He wants to just go into a completely different building. Bad roommate, bad tenant. The fight over here, though. 303 pushing in onto hard shifts. And D-Rich gets a knock. Tries to confirm, and I think he's able to... Oh, just gets under half HP before traded out. And now walks in. What can he do? And Honey Badger on the side as well to secure this position for 303. The blue just being a big nuisance. And now Honey Badger. He was prone, trying to do something. Boxer going for the revive. Now flowing back over to Oath. Compound on the edge of their own. Dealing some damage to a push of dodge. But not a lot of knocks that they can find for them. They're in a stable compound for now, but in 40 seconds there's a huge chance they're going to have to move. And so Oath already trying to find opportunities, trying to find positions they can execute on.
Yeah, and I mean 303 recovering as well as they did out of that. Obviously Honey Badger was on the other side of the water, but now actually Hardship's going to get some good damage onto Voxic in the UAZ, and they're just going to pull up on the backside of the ridge here. They're not actually in just yet, so Hardships can continue to pressure them and try and gatekeep them out of this circle, because obviously we know Illusion is still in the compound. D-Rich actually going for a flank within the blue. And that could be huge for 303 if he can get an opener onto Hardships.
Yeah, that ridge, it dies out just before the blue closes, and now Voxic just brazenly running across the road. But it's not spotted, I guess, because it is that risky. No one expected 303 to make this maneuver. There it is. You can see in the minimap some shots coming out from Illusion, but Hardships have pulled away enough because of the next circle shift. Was a hard shift of its own down towards the southeast, but there it is. The spot does come out.
Yeah, and Voxic somehow still up here. We did see in the kill feed, ATC, Norkis actually getting a double knock and then a double flush, and ATC getting fed more kills over at the crater on the edge of Yasnaya Field here. You will see Chuba now respond back onto Voxic. So it should just be D-Rich standing now in a 1v2 situation against hard shifts, and yeah, his legs just got spotted there. J-Sank will get the final blow, and 303 will fall in 14th place.
Both, though, pushing forward, trying to go just a little bit more west, and they know that Dodger in this location. And nades already coming through, and it's perfect from Snakers, getting 2 in 1. Now this gives them a little bit of freedom to push closer into the circle.
Now, actually, Veritas looking like they're going to crash onto Mystery now. They're going to join the party down at the yellows here. 2 members of Veritas. They're trying to pressure in. Jazza didn't spot Mystery on the inside there. He went for the pre-fire. Penta will luckily find him on the way in with the AK. But they are going to have no idea that H-Win's here. Now, things will slow down a little bit here. Some utility going in to the other building. But H-Win just going to play audio on this one. He's going to wait to be pushed. He's actually going to find the first knock there. Penta on the way in. Underhand flash out from H-Win. Fantastic. He didn't know that the second was this close. He goes for a second underhand. Is he going to peek onto this? He is going to peek onto it. H-Win wins the 1v2. Goes absolutely huge for Sonics. Wow. I said he was potentially going to play audio there, and he played it fantastically with 2 underhand flashbangs out the door. ATC, meanwhile, putting some pressure onto Illusion as they try and pull up. Now, Fabled unable to really reset, and actually Illusion will fall here. They will go out in 10th place. But Fabled now able to regroup over to the top side of Volcano. SDK still chilling down on the south side. But Fabled still got 4 up. Only 2 kills on the board right now. But we'll have to wait and see what they can do with this one. ATC now in a really, really sticky situation. I don't really think they've got many options other than crashing H-Win. And they're the only team really with the information on him still being there, because they know where he pulled up previously when they bailed him out. Rip trying to look for some pressure over towards ATC, but I think he just wants to stop them pulling up on the north side of Volcano here. As you can see, Norkis making his way towards the hill. Rip actually going to peel all the way back down to the north side. This is a fantastic play from Rip, actually. If Fable can swivel back on and hold ATC, they might be able to kill them all in the open here. There's Oath on the other side of the circle looking to make moves. They might be the ones to crash on, actually. Rip going to open up here, going to find a headshot onto Norkis. He goes for the flush, but there's a second peek coming in from Aguila. The rest of ATC need to swivel onto this. They do. Hella will find Aguila now. They can reset and maybe get the res onto Rip if they're quick about it, but the blue is moving. Now Haxetti looking for some SLR hits. Marsalek will pressure him away from the ridge. But Fable doing fantastically well to deal with this push from ATC. Just 2 standing now for any trolls in chat, and Hella will actually fall there a little bit. A little bit of a sloppy solo peek there. Marsalek will actually find a second now. So 2 of Fable will fall. It's just the 1 remaining. Oh, Greg Shot is elsewhere, not helping at all with this fight. Not entirely sure why there was a split focus here, because Fable looks so well poised to hold on to this. Greg Shot will finally clean up ATC, but all of his teammates will fall. So Fable put 6 on the board. And ATC, I think, went out with 10. H-Win, all the meanwhile, he's been listening to this. He knows exactly what's gone on here. He's going to know all the information for the kill feed. H-Win now pushing up to the top side of Volcano to try and clear up Greg Shot. He's going to hop in a vehicle and reposition slightly. Not going to pressure it just yet. Greg Shot going to find himself a tree to hide behind, but SDK probably heard exactly where he pulled up. You see a couple of the player icons on the minimap facing this direction. But they're not going to look to pressure it just yet. And H-Win will get himself a little spot to play up on the hillside as well. Still 7 teams remain in this circle. You see Comet still chilling at Hacker. We've got J-Sank over on the west side. And that circle is fantastic for H-Win, actually. Going to give him a really good opportunity. I mean, to make top 4, potentially. Considering Oath, STK, and Liberator all in the circle, they should be able to clear up the majority of the rest of the game. STK still laying low. They're biding their time this game, that's for sure. That's Yaxley going to find J-Sank over on the west side, so that will be hard shifts falling in 7th. And Comets, again, bit of a compound curse. They've been chilling in Hacker Compound for a while now. And no action really being delivered to their doorstep. But now you can see Yaxley absolutely bolting it across in the UAZ. He's going to find the backside of the ridge. And maybe look for a push onto STK here. I'm not sure if they know exactly the position. They should have a rough idea of where STK are positioned. But Greg Shot and H-Win up on Volcano in the meantime. Yaxley actually going to prime a nade out. I think he knows exactly where Greg Shot pulled up. Just falling short. Yeah, just falling short though, Cam.
Yeah, but it's still good pressure trying to take the last member out. This would give a lot of room to play around with, but instead it's going to back off. Too much return pressure coming out from Greg Shot, and all that damage in the blue combined is not something that Comets really want to play around with. STK holding down strong in the dip, lost a couple of members, but look at all this carnage surrounding them. Only 4 kills, but they were able to make it to the top 6. I don't know if, I'm not a betting man, but I don't know if that's one that I would have guessed looking at their earlier position, but they're able to make it work for now. But the Comets still just crawling around instead. They're going back north, back into Greg Shot, but Greg finds one. Can't get more than that, though, unfortunately. Comets might have an opportunity to get the revive if the blue doesn't have anything to say about it.
Halo's looking frisky over towards the south side here, looking like he maybe wants to come up and pressure this.
Treats. He's holding down the south side to stop anyone from pushing the flank. I believe that's smoke that he just threw out as well. Give a little more safety, a little more pressure, but H-Win still just trying to snake it out, but Patcaps might have spotted him. A good flash to come out, but a return molly from Patcaps. Not much that H-Win can do at that moment. He is going to get taken out in 5th place. A good crawl from him, but now we're looking at the top 4. No one playing center. It's a hard shift towards this northwest. This is really good for the Comets. Surely they're aware of STK in this position. STK are probably going to have to push up into them if they want a good hold on the rest of this game, or at least, I guess, the final minutes that remain of it. Liberate also still alive, also with 4. Only 1 kill for them, but as we saw last week, they are perfectly okay with that. They have 0 FOMO from kills. They only care about the points. What more points can they get?
I mean, if they can position themselves to get up onto the hill here, they have a fighting chance, but coming out of Alamo this late on, especially when Guabi can't make it past that pole and a buggy.
Oop.
Yep, there's a wall there too. Couldn't find the gap. But they're going to make a mad dash out now, and this is not ideal here. Well, actually, he's going to get some good damage onto Snakers, but Snakers will just repeat with the SLR, lands the headshot.
Okay. Simply and at it have to make their way outside of Alamo as well. Isecting a little bit of damage, but again, can't get a knock. It's going to be STK also chiming in with some frags of their own. Addict gets taken out. Simply Matt also knocked as well. Dare I say it's curtains for Liberate at this moment because there's not a lot for them to really play around with. And there it is, taken out in 4th place. 3 remain right now, but STK also have to climb forward. Purdy Curdy does get dropped. It's going to be confirmed for him. It's just Luke and Ayla remaining.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to bide a little bit more time. Maybe wait for Oath to try and make a move potentially, but I think Comets probably have the most space to play with here between STK and Comets. Obviously, Oath in the meantime, they're just trying to flex out a little bit and spread and get as much circle control as possible.
As possible, I think being the key word. I don't know if there's any position here in this final circle, phase 9, that's really going to give one team the absolute unanswerable position. I guess the main advantage of the fact that they're not staring down SDK like Comets are is what gives Oath the advantage in this circle, but they're still going to have to land their shots. It is not their game still just yet. Neither is it Comets or even SDK. Who's going to peek whom first, though? Luke still holding the line against Comets. Monty goes down, but Victor immediately trades out. Alo proning down. They actually are able to smash the Comets, but Alo left in a 1 versus 4 because naturally Oath are going to push over once they see the kill feed light up, and Oath are able to take that game for themselves.